There's over 2,000 professionally ranked men's tennis players. And yet, over the last 20 or so years, 83% of the Grand Slam events have been won by just 3 of them. What can you learn about that for your business and your practice? We're going to talk about it right now.
This is The Rare Advisor, proud to be a part of the Advisor Advancement Network and home of a business model supercharged by recurring and repeatable events. Your host is Mike Walters, CEO of USA Financial. He is an investment advisor representative of and securities are offered through USA Financial Securities, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Hey, candidly speaking, I may not know a ton about the world of tennis. I know enough to be dangerous. However, I do know what it is to compete. I know what it is when I see success sustained over long periods of time, longevity with success, and I know how important that is, and I know how difficult that is, and I know that it takes a certain amount of focus and a certain amount of skill set and a whole lot of moxie, and it takes the endurance to make that happen. To break down a marathon into short sprints within the greater race is the key to longevity success. Now, recently, we just talked about the Queen of England celebrating the 70-year Jubilee, the longest reigning individual sitting on the throne of Britain in the history of the world, which is shocking. And we broke down 10 little tidbits about the Queen of England that give you a glimpse into why she's been so perennially successful as a human being and as a leader. And it's key that you can pull these away and use them in your own practice to create that same enduring growth rate, that same enduring success rate within your business. So, I know a little bit about this. I'm not going to pretend to be, the almighty who has all the answers, but I am a pretty good student. And I do enjoy history, which is why the Queen thing grabbed me a little bit. And I enjoy competition. So although I'm not a huge tennis fan, I know what I know when I see success over long periods of time. And that's what I want to talk to you about a little bit today in terms of how it relates to what's going on in the Grand Slam men's singles champions. Now, in the big picture of all this, Nadal had his first championship, his first tournament championship at the age of 19. He now earned it at age 36. And in the meantime, he's done that 22 times. Think about that, 22 times. So from 19 to 36, that takes stamina. That takes focus. A business consultant, a friend of mine from years back, once told me, he said, it's really hard to change what someone heard and learned when their parents didn't know they were listening. Think about that. It's really hard to undo inside of a person what they learned when their parents didn't know they were listening. So what happens is that gets ingrained in us. It can get ingrained in us in a good way. It can get ingrained in us in a bad way. Most likely, I don't know Nadal personally, but most likely it got ingrained in him. At least this work ethic, this competitiveness, this sustained endurance over that period of time to be that successful for that long a period. My guess is, given the fact he won the first one at 19, it was ingrained in him in a really good way. Now, you could probably have a similar discussion about Djokovic and about Federer, and then obviously about Nadal. Because, check this out. This is a graphic I found. It's from June 5th in Axios. This is the Grand Slam men's singles going from 2003 to 2022. There's 75 Grand Slam events in there. 62 of the 75 were won by 3 individuals. Think about that. 62 of the 75 were won by either Federer, Djokovic, or Nadal. Federer won 20. Djokovic won 20. Nadal has now won 22. All of the color you see, that's the Grand Slam events that they won. The blank or the white, that's when someone else snuck in and snuck it away from one of those three. Otherwise, it's been domination by those three individuals. My guess is their careers are attached at the hip with each other as well. It's that competitive drive to compete against those other two individuals that drives each one of them. So that's a pretty compelling viewpoint of this. So you need to create something that you're competing against. For me, I compete against numbers. That's what I do. I collect data. I view the data. I watch the data. I want to see the data move in the right direction. That's my sustained competitor over 35 years in this industry. It's looking at the data and improving on the data and moving the bar up, up, up. That's how I keep my competitive advantage. Some of you might point to an individual like these sports stars most likely did. You might be pointing to the financial advisor across town and saying, if that guy can do it, I can do it better. And you might be growing and competing that way. Or you might have a certain thing that you look to truly deliver through your practice, something that's ultimately important to you as a human being, or the service level, or the ability to help people, and all these different kind of moral moral opportunities that you want to capitalize on for people. Maybe that's how you drive. Maybe your business is only a means to an end. Maybe it happens to be about building the business so that you can give more away. You can give back. Maybe that's what drives you. Maybe it's about building the younger people inside of your business and your practice. Maybe that's what drives you. So again, there's lots of things that can drive us, but you have to find something that you want to measure against. And I'll argue, measure against it forever, because that's how you create the sustained ability to create longevity success. Otherwise, you're gonna swing in the wind too much. So for me, again, it's numbers. Now, that might sound odd for some of you who know me, because I do a lot of public speaking, I interact on these videos, and a lot of people are like, gosh, he doesn't seem like he's like over inundated in the numbers. But then again, I create investment models for USA Financial Formulas, and I've created a TAMP platform with our team here for USA Financial Exchange. I say it's not me only, it's building a team, and that team comes with numbers. So for me, I like to build the team. I like to build the business. I like to build the assets. I like to build the relationships. I like to help other advisors in their practices, because all of those things can at some point or another be quantified, and I can watch the numbers. So I guess maybe what I'm saying is, for me, the numbers is a means to an end in terms of how I want to grow and help people around me. But that's how I create my competition, is through the numbers. So you have to find that. I don't know what it is for you. I can't give it to you. You have to find it. Do you have your own Nadal, your own Federer, your own Djokovic that you can compete against? But you need to find it, because that helps create the longevity. So let's stop and talk for one quick moment before we wrap it up on longevity itself. Each one of those individuals, again, I don't know them from a hole in the wall. I've watched very little tennis in comparison to other sports that I enjoy. But when you have three individuals who have basically dominated over a 20-year period in a sport that age comes at a detriment. The older you get, the slower you get, the less your odds of winning. And these people have been doing it for basically 20 years as a triple crown group, if you will. So you're talking about dedication to staying in shape, dedication to eating right, dedication to doing the work before the event begins. It's a free focus buffer conversation, isn't it? You've probably heard from Strategic Coach. Our friends over there do a great job with what's called free focus and buffer. It's the way to keep yourself focused on what matters most in your business. Sometimes we call it game prep free, or game prep repair. Easy for me to say, right? Game, prep, repair, free. Because we break it down a little differently, but it's the same general concept. So you need a way to frame your days so that you can keep focused on what matters most. And that's where success through longevity or success in relation with longevity prevails. And again, being a flash in the pan, not too hard. Winning a sprint, everybody's going to do it sometime. Winning the long race, that's where true success shines above all else.
This information is for licensed financial professionals only and is not intended for use in soliciting sales from the public. The views expressed represent the opinions of the presenter or their featured guest, not necessarily those of USA Financial or its affiliated subsidiaries. Industry references are generic and not intended to represent actions or beliefs of any individual or entity. Content is only presented to illustrate general principles, beliefs, or ideas and should not be construed as legal or regulatory advice. Trademark and copyright protected. USA Financial and Affiliates.